Okay, a video on where is the filter in my machine. We're going to cover the Prowler and or the Stallion, the T1, the Tennant extractor. This is a 1530. You may have a 1510 or something similar. I know we can't cover every machine that everybody owns on campus, but these are a good example of basic different types of machines that we have. The Compass 2, we're gonna check out the filters on the vacuums and on the Rev. All right, oh, and the Chariot. So let's get started with the Rev. Where is the vacuum on my Rev? Where is the filter on my Rev? On this side of it, you'll see this little plastic cap. As I unscrew this, I think there's some water in it. Oh, by the way, you can turn that little valve to where the water, see the water is on in this case, but this is turning the water off. So I'm gonna unscrew this little plastic cap. Some water will come out. And there's a little metal screen in here, and there is a little piece of plastic junk. But if this screen is not cleaned, and I recommend cleaning it once a week if your machines are used on a regular basis. So take the cap off, take this little screen out, clean it. If it means going to the sink and just cleaning it out, that should probably suffice. Replace the little cap. Okay, so that's where the filter is on the Rev. Let's move to the Chariot. Chariot's a real hoot. You'll find the filter in the Chariot. Don't get your arm trapped in here because it'll get stuck. But it's basically, once you put your arm in there, it's down about right there. So, okay, easier said than done. I promise it's in there. This one's a challenge to get out. Okay, it looks like that. That's what the filter on your Chariot looks like. And the same thing applies. Just clean out the screen. But anyway, so clean that out. And these, well, in the interest of time, I'll put that back later. So that's where the filter in your Chariot is. Vacuum. Okay, everybody knows where this filter is. This filter looks really good. A lot of times they're just black as black can be, but these should be changed on a regular basis also. I recommend changing these, well, I guess every situation, every area is going to be different, but one good time frame on this is every time you change a bag, maybe every other bag, it's up to you. But this is not bad. When they start to look black, that's bad. They need to be changed. But a lot of times people don't know where this other filter is on their vacuums. Okay, so here is the other filter. Yuck. And that, again, that can be determined by your supervisor how often that needs to be changed. But it can be changed. If you have a way to blow through it, to blow all this junk out of here, fine. If it needs be, you can take it to the sink and clean it out. But one thing you need to remember is never put a wet filter back in the vacuum. And that reason is because the vacuum will suck the water from the filter into the vacuum motor and soon destroy your vacuum motor. So that's where your two filters are on your vacuums, right here. And I put that back in properly. Naturally, it goes in this cage as you found it. Just like that. So there's that filter and this filter. Okay, on your Compass or other such machines, the chances are really good that your filter is going to be down here. I don't know if you can see that little plastic housing that I'm taking off. Some are easier than others. Ouch. So it's clear to me that this filter, well, I don't know how clear it is, but I don't think this filter has been removed in a while. Otherwise, it would have been much easier to take off. And anytime you drop something, it never goes where you want it to go. All right, so same thing applies. There's this little metal screen. Same thing applies as the rev. Little metal screen. Yeah, well, this was a fail. But anyway, this O-ring should go back in here. I'm not gonna do this right now, again, in the interest of time. You see a lot of junk up in here. The filter, that says the filter's doing its job. All this sediment was actually trapped by this little filter and not allowed to circulate through the system, which is good. And again, in the interest of time, I'm not gonna put this back on right now. But that's where you find your filter on your compass. And it goes back on just the way it came off, unless it ends up like this. But we'll address that another time. Okay, so your Tennant extractor right here. And again, it's the little plastic cap. And oh yeah, there's not much water here. But you will most times find water in it. So you might want to do this over a slop sink or in an area where the water can just run away, maybe like a parking lot. That's up to you. But again, this screen, this is a good example of how not to put the screen back on. These screens, although they're metal, are very flexible, as you can see. It's like screen door material, or even more fine than that. When you put the filter back on, it should fit up in there. And when you put the cap back on, you shouldn't have to force anything. Everything should go back on nice and easy and without forcing it. So the filters in a perfect world should not be crunched like this. And that filter probably still works. But I've seen them where they're just completely crunched to the point where they're not actually filtering. So that's where the filter is on the Tennant extractors. I may have splashed water on the camera. On the Tennant extractors. Okay, your T1. This is super easy. T1, right there. That just pops off. And you may or may not be able to see light through it, maybe not. But just make sure that's clean and free of junk. Otherwise, your T1's not gonna be able to suck up water out of the clean water tank. So that one needs to be checked periodically. And last but not least, on this type of extractor, the Prowler or the Stallion, I think, is the exact same. You'll see down in here, there's that little mushroom filter. And these mushroom filters just pull off. They don't really unscrew. They just pull off of the their thing. Anyway, so just pull it off. And again, make sure there's no junk. Clean it off. And it goes right back on its thing, for lack of better terms. All right. So there you go. There is a breakdown of where the filters are on these different pieces of equipment, or a general likeness to it. Anyway, any questions, call the shop.